Commander Azara Ven stood at the central monitoring station of Earth Research Colony 487, her four eyes blinking in rapid succession as she studied the unusual readings on the holographic display. The colony, hidden beneath a perfectly ordinary-looking office building in suburban Connecticut, had been operating smoothly for the past 3 Earth years. Until now. "Something's not right," she muttered, her scaled fingers dancing across the control panel. The sensor readings from Sector 7 were showing bizarre energy signatures, unlike anything their equipment had detected before. "Computer, run a diagnostic on Sector 7 sensors." Sensors functioning at optimal capacity, the computer responded in its maddeningly calm voice. No malfunctions detected. Azara's secondary heart began to beat faster, a sure sign of stress among her species. She straightened her regulation uniform, its fabric automatically adjusting to her agitated state, and pressed the comm button. "Senior researcher Finn Blackwood, report to the monitoring station immediately." Within moments, the sliding doors whooshed open, and Finn hurried in. Despite having lived among humans for years as part of their deep cover operation, he still hadn't quite mastered the art of walking naturally in his human disguise. His movements were a bit too precise, too mechanical. Commander Finn asked, his synthesized voice carrying a hint of concern. "Is everything all right?" "Look at these readings," Azara said, gesturing to the display. "What do you make of them?" Finn leaned forward, his artificial eyes widening slightly as he processed the data. "That's impossible. The energy signature suggests movement, but it's appearing and disappearing at random intervals, almost as if something is phasing in and out of our dimension." Azara finished his thought, her cranial ridges flushing a pale blue with excitement. "Precisely," Finn confirmed, pulling up additional data streams. "But that's not the strangest part. Look at the biological markers." The holographic display shifted, showing a complex web of interconnected data points. At the center was a pulsing red dot, moving in patterns that defied their understanding of Earth's physics. "Whatever this is," Azara said, her voice dropping to a whisper, "it's alive, and it's in our facility." Just then, the comm system crackled to life. "Commander," the voice belonged to junior researcher Lisa Park, stationed in Sector 7. "There's something here. I've never seen anything like it." The fear in Lisa's voice sent a shiver down Azara's spinal ridge. In 3 years of studying Earth's lifeforms, they'd never encountered anything that could cause such alarm in a trained researcher. "Stay calm," Researcher Park, Azara commanded, activating the sector's security feeds. "What exactly are you seeing?" The response came back broken, static interrupting the transmission. It's making some kind of structure, but it's impossible. The angles, the geometry, it's not following any known construction patterns." Azara and Finn exchanged worried glances. Their species prided themselves on their logical, methodical approach to scientific research. But this was something outside their carefully organized protocols. "Initiating containment protocol beta," Azara announced, her fingers flying over the control panel. Warning lights began pulsing throughout the facility, bathing the monitoring station in alternating shades of purple and green. "Should we alert the High Command?" Finn asked, already preparing the emergency communication channels. Azara hesitated. Her career, her reputation, everything she'd worked for hung in the balance. If this turned out to be nothing but the sensor readings were undeniable, something unknown had breached their security, something that could apparently manipulate space itself. Yes, she decided. But first, seal off Sector 7. Whatever this entity is, we can't risk it spreading to other parts of the facility. And Finn. "Yes, Commander. Pray to the Ancient Ones that we're not dealing with something beyond our comprehension." Little did Commander Azara Ven know, but their carefully controlled world was about to be turned upside down by one of Earth's most common inhabitants, and the humans' surprisingly casual attitude toward it would challenge everything they thought they knew about their research subjects. Junior researcher Tara Bloom crept down the corridor of Sector 7, her handheld scanner extended in front of her like a shield. The purple emergency lights cast eerie shadows on the walls, making every corner look suspicious. Despite her extensive training in xenobiology, her hands trembled slightly as she approached the source of the anomalous readings. "Researcher Park," she called out, her voice echoing in the empty hallway. "Lisa, are you here?" No response. Just the quiet hum of the facility's life support systems and the steady beeping of her scanner. The device's readings were getting stronger, indicating she was getting closer to whatever had triggered the alerts. Tara rounded the corner and froze. There, suspended in mid-air between two storage units, was something that made her third eye snap open in shock. Geometric patterns hung in space, defying gravity, creating impossible angles that seemed to bend reality itself. "By the sacred equations," she whispered, forgetting proper research protocol in her amazement. Her scanner was going crazy, detecting energy signatures that shouldn't exist according to their understanding of Earth physics. She reached for her comm unit. "Commander Venn, this is Junior Researcher Bloom. I found something. It appears to be some kind of constructed matrix, but the engineering principles are unlike anything in our database." "Can you describe it?" Researcher Bloom. Commander Venn's voice crackled through the comm. Tara stepped closer, her scientific curiosity temporarily overriding her fear. "It's like a network of interconnected filaments, but they're arranged in patterns that shouldn't be stable. Oh no." "What is it?" "Report, Researcher Bloom." But Tara couldn't speak. She had just seen something move along one of the impossible strands. Something small, dark, and definitely alive. It had multiple appendages and moved with a speed and agility that seemed to violate several laws of physics. There's a creature," she finally managed to say, backing away slowly. "It's using these structures as some kind of transportation network. But where did it go?" The creature had vanished, simply disappeared from her sight. Her scanner showed it was still there somewhere, but she couldn't see it. The realization hit her like a gravitational wave. This entity could somehow move beyond their normal perceptual range. Panic spread through the facility like a quantum cascade. Security teams in their human disguises rushed to Sector 7, their weapons drawn. Senior researchers huddled around monitoring stations, arguing about the implications of the readings. Junior staff members whispered about ancient legends of dimension-hopping predators that their ancestors had encountered eons ago. "Everyone, maintain your composure," Commander Venn's voice boomed through the facility's announcement system. "We are trained professionals. Activate Advanced Containment Protocol Gamma. I want force fields around every section of Sector 7, full spectrum scanning, and quantum entanglement monitors at every junction." But even as the security measures sprang into place, Tara noticed something disturbing. The geometric patterns were spreading, appearing in new locations faster than they could be contained. And worse, their sensors showed multiple energy signatures. Now the creature was somehow multiplying. Commander Senior Researcher Blackwood's voice cut through the chaos. "The entity appears to be creating some kind of interdimensional network throughout our facility. These structures, they're like roads or highways, but they exist partially outside our normal space-time." In the central monitoring station, Commander Venn watched in horror as the network of impossible geometries spread across their facility maps like a viral infection. Their most advanced containment fields seemed useless against whatever this was. "How did it breach our defenses?" she demanded. "We have the most sophisticated security systems in the galaxy." "That's just it," Commander Tara reported, her voice shaking as she studied her scanner readings. "According to these data patterns, it didn't breach them at all. It's been here the whole time. We just couldn't detect it until it started building these structures." The implications were staggering. How many more of these creatures might be lurking in their facility, invisible to their most advanced detection systems? How had Earth's dominant species survived with such entities in their midst? The answer would come soon enough, but not before things got much, much worse. As Tara watched, the creature suddenly appeared again, this time barely a meter from her face. In the brief moment before she screamed and dropped her scanner, she saw it clearly: 8 legs, multiple eyes, and an ability to move that seemed to defy everything she thought she knew about Earth's wildlife. The ensuing chaos would be talked about in research circles for years to come, though few would believe the truth about what really happened at Earth Research Colony 487 on that fateful day. The next 6 hours at Earth Research Colony 487 could only be described as controlled pandemonium. If by controlled, one meant a complete breakdown of all scientific protocols and rational behavior. "It's in the cafeteria," screamed research assistant Marcus Cole, his human disguise flickering as he lost control of his holographic projector. "No, wait, it's in the lab. How is it moving so fast?" Commander Azara Ven watched in dismay as her once orderly facility descended into chaos. The creature had somehow managed to appear in 3 different locations simultaneously, according to their sensors. Either it could teleport, or there were more of them. Neither option brought her any comfort. Status report, she barked into the facility-wide comm system. Senior researcher Blackwood's voice came through, unusually high-pitched for his normally stoic demeanor. "We've deployed 12 quantum containment fields, 16 gravity traps, and 8-dimensional anchors. The creature has escaped all of them. It's like our most advanced technology means nothing to it." In Lab Complex B, Security Chief Hannah Price led a team of their best capture specialists, all armed with the latest in non-lethal containment technology. They moved in perfect formation, their weapons trained on a corner where one of the geometric structures hung in space. "Target spotted," Hannah announced, deploying neural suppression net in 3, 2, 1. The advanced capture device shot forth, its energy matrix expanding to cover the entire corner. For a moment, everyone held their breath. Then, "Where did it go?" Hannah demanded. "It was right there." "Up there," someone shouted. "On the ceiling." 20 heads turned upward simultaneously, only to see the creature casually walking across the ceiling, as if gravity was merely a suggestion rather than a law of physics. "That's impossible," Hannah exclaimed. "We're generating an artificial gravity field of 1.0 Earth-G throughout the facility." The creature, apparently unimpressed by their understanding of gravitational physics, continued its casual stroll across the ceiling before disappearing into one of its geometric structures, which promptly vanished. In the main monitoring station, Commander Ven was rapidly losing her composure. Her scales had turned a pale green, a sure sign of stress among her species, as she watched the chaos unfold on multiple screens. "How is it bypassing our sensors?" she demanded. "We have quantum-level detection systems." Commander Tara Bloom's voice came through, surprisingly calm given the situation. "I've been analyzing the data. The creature seems to be using these structures not just for transportation, but as some kind of interdimensional web." "A web," Ven repeated, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "Yes, and here's the truly fascinating part. It's creating these structures out of a material we can barely detect. It's like it's spinning them out of its own body." Just then, the lights flickered throughout the facility. The backup generators kicked in immediately, but the momentary darkness sent waves of panic through the staff. "It's in the power distribution center," someone screamed over the comm. "It's building more structures around our main power conduits." Commander Ven watched in horror as the creature's geometric patterns began appearing around vital facility systems. Their most sophisticated scanning equipment showed the structures weaving through walls, floors, and even their reinforced security barriers as if they weren't there. "Attention all personnel," she announced, her voice shaking slightly. "Initiate emergency protocol Omega. All non-essential staff are to evacuate immediately to Safe Zone Alpha." The evacuation began, but it quickly became apparent that safe was a relative term. The creature's structures had appeared in Safe Zone Alpha before the first group of staff even reached it. "It's everywhere," Research Assistant Cole wailed, his human disguise now completely forgotten, revealing his natural blue-scaled form. "The structures are spreading exponentially." In Lab Complex C, a team of senior researchers attempted to analyze one of the geometric patterns. They brought in their most advanced scanning equipment, determined to understand the physics behind these impossible structures. "Fascinating," muttered Chief Scientist Laura Nash, her 7 fingers flying over the control panel. "The material properties are unlike anything we've encountered. It's stronger than our strongest alloys, yet weighs virtually nothing." "Look out," someone shouted as the creature suddenly appeared in the middle of their scanning array. The entire team of highly trained, logical scientists promptly forgot years of training and ran screaming from the lab. Commander Ven watched the security feeds with a growing sense of dread. Her best teams had failed. Their most advanced technology had proved useless. And now the creature was expanding its territory throughout their facility, creating an ever-growing network of its mysterious structures. Commander Tara's voice came through again. I think I know what we're dealing with. But you're not going to believe it. At this point, researcher Bloom, I'm willing to believe anything. Well, according to Earth's biological databases, this appears to be a common. But before she could finish, the creature appeared directly in front of the main control console, causing Commander Ven to let out a most undignified shriek and fall backward out of her command chair. The facility's computer chose that moment to helpfully announce warning. Unknown biological entity detected in command center. Containment protocols have failed. Suggest immediate evacuation. As Commander Ven scrambled to her feet, trying to maintain what little dignity she had left, she knew they needed help. It was time to do the unthinkable. They needed to contact a human expert. Maya Collins had seen some strange things during her years as a groundskeeper for what everyone in town thought was just another boring office building. The oddly precise way people walked in and out, the weird humming at night, and that one time she could have sworn she saw someone with blue scales under their suit jacket. But nothing had prepared her for the panicked phone call she received at 3 a.m. You must come immediately, the voice on the other end practically squeaked. This is a level red emergency situation. The facility has been compromised by an unknown biological entity with reality-altering capabilities. Maya rubbed her eyes sleepily. Could you repeat that in normal people words? We have a situation that requires your Earth expertise, the voice said, trying to sound calmer and failing miserably. 20 minutes later, Maya stood in the building's lobby, coffee in hand, watching in bewilderment as people in business suits ran around screaming about dimensional anomalies and security breaches. She noticed some of their holograms were flickering, revealing hints of scales, extra eyes, and various non-human appendages. Commander Azara Ven approached her, trying to maintain some semblance of dignity despite her clearly frazzled state. Thank you for coming so quickly, Earth Specialist Collins. We have a situation of utmost urgency that requires your unique knowledge of this planet's wildlife. Aha, Maya said, taking another sip of coffee. And what exactly is this situation? Before the commander could answer, a high-pitched scream echoed from down the corridor. It's here, in the break room. It's constructing more interdimensional transport networks. Maya followed Commander Ven to the break room, where several aliens in increasingly malfunctioning human disguises were pressed against the far wall, pointing trembling fingers at something in the corner. Oh, Maya said, squinting at the small, 8-legged creature building a web between the coffee maker and the water cooler. That's what all this is about. You recognize this entity? Commander Ven asked, her 4 eyes widening in surprise. Yeah, it's just a house spider. Pretty common around here. Looks like a female, probably looking for a good spot to set up shop. The room fell silent. Even the panicked screaming in the distance seemed to quiet down. A house spider, senior researcher Blackwood repeated, his human disguise flickering to reveal antennae that were twitching in confusion. But our sensors indicate it's manipulating spatial dimensions. It's creating structures that defy our understanding of physics. Maya walked over to the coffee maker, completely unconcerned. Oh, you mean the web? Yeah, spiders do that. They're actually pretty helpful. They catch flies and other pests. Helpful? Commander Ven's scales turned a peculiar shade of purple. This creature has breached our most sophisticated security systems. It moves in ways that violate fundamental laws of physics. It can appear and disappear at will. Nah, they're just really good at hiding, Maya explained, watching the spider continue its work. And those webs are pretty amazing, I'll give you that. Stronger than steel, pound for pound. Tara Bloom, who had been frantically taking notes on her data pad, looked up in shock. Stronger than steel? You mean this is normal Earth technology? Maya couldn't help but laugh. It's not technology, it's just nature. Spiders have been around for millions of years. They're in pretty much every building on Earth. The color drained from Commander Ven's scales. Every building. Oh yeah. You probably have hundreds of them in here right now. They're really good at staying out of sight, though. The ensuing chaos was spectacular. Several aliens completely lost control of their human disguises. Someone fainted. Commander Ven had to grab onto a chair for support. "Hundreds," she whispered in horror. "Our facility has been completely infiltrated, and we never knew." Maya watched in amusement as the highly advanced alien research team had a collective meltdown over something she dealt with every day. "Look," she said, trying not to laugh, "if you want, I can just grab a cup and paper and relocate her outside." "No," Commander Ven shouted, making everyone jump. "This specimen has demonstrated advanced capabilities. It requires proper containment protocols." "Advanced capabilities?" Maya raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" "It can walk on walls and ceilings in defiance of gravity." "Yeah, they've got these tiny hairs on their feet that let them do that. Pretty cool, right?" "It creates perfectly geometric structures out of materials we can barely detect." "Spider silk. They make it themselves. Really useful stuff. Scientists have been trying to replicate it for years. It appears and disappears at will. They're just really fast and good at hiding. Seriously, it's not that big a deal." The aliens stared at her, as if she had just announced that the universe was actually flat. Commander Ven's mouth opened and closed several times before she could speak again. "You mean to tell us," she said slowly, "that humans have been coexisting with these beings? These reality-defying creatures that can appear anywhere, create structures stronger than steel, and move in ways that should be physically impossible?" "Well, yeah," Maya shrugged. "Sometimes we name them. I had one in my bathroom named Bob last month. Made a really nice web in the corner." The sound that came from Commander Ven's throat was unlike anything Maya had ever heard, somewhere between a squeak and a gurgle. Several other aliens were frantically updating their research databases, while others seemed to be having existential crises. "You name them?" Tara Bloom asked weakly. "Sure. This one looks like a Charlotte to me." Maya smiled at the spider, which had just caught a fly in its newly constructed web. "See? Already helping with pest control." The next series of events at Earth Research Colony 487 would later be classified as the Great Arachnid Incident. In official reports, though most of the staff preferred to call it the day we lost to a spider. Commander Azara Ven stood in the Emergency Command Center, watching in horror as more red dots appeared on the facility map. Each dot represented a confirmed spider web sighting, and the display looked like it had caught a case of measles. "Status report," she commanded, her voice cracking slightly. "Webs detected in all major corridors," Security Chief Hannah Price reported, her human disguise now completely abandoned. "They're appearing faster than we can document them." "The quantum containment fields?" Commander Ven asked hopefully. "Useless. The spiders just walk around them." "The gravity generators?" "They're walking on the ceiling right above them." "The dimensional anchors?" "They're using them as anchor points for more webs." Maya Collins leaned against a wall, sipping her fourth cup of coffee, and watching the aliens' increasingly frantic attempts to deal with what she considered a minor housekeeping issue. She had to admit, though Charlotte had been busy, the original spider had apparently inspired others to join in the web-building spree. "Emergency. Emergency," the facility's AI announced. "Multiple arachnid constructions detected in primary ventilation systems. Recommend immediate evacuation of all non-essential personnel." Commander Ven's scales had turned an interesting shade of gray. "Initiate emergency protocol Lambda. All staff to evacuation points. This is not a drill." The evacuation itself was a sight to behold. Highly trained alien researchers, many now having given up entirely on maintaining their human disguises, ran through the halls in panic. Several bumped into spider webs and danced around screaming, trying to get the silk off their faces, antennae, and various other alien appendages. "The spiders have taken the main exit," someone screamed. "They're in the emergency exits too. They're everywhere." Maya watched as Charlotte, the original troublemaker, calmly descended from the ceiling right onto Commander Ven's command console. The commander let out a shriek that probably violated several local noise ordinances. "Don't move," she ordered everyone in the room. "Maybe if we stay perfectly still." "You know they're not predators, right?" Maya interjected. "They're actually more afraid of you than you are of them." "That's impossible," senior researcher Blackwood declared, his antennae twitching violently. "These beings have completely overwhelmed our most advanced defensive systems. They've taken control of our facility. He was cut off by another spider dropping down next to Charlotte. The room erupted in chaos. "They're coordinating an attack. They're taking over the command center. Quick, download all essential data before they corrupt our systems." Maya had seen enough. Setting down her coffee cup, she walked over to the command console, pulled a paper cup from the water cooler, and a piece of paper from a nearby printer. "What are you doing?" Commander Venn asked, watching in horror as Maya approached the spiders. "Solving your problem," Maya replied. With practiced ease, she positioned the cup over Charlotte and her friend, sliding the paper underneath. In one smooth motion, she had both spiders safely contained. The room fell silent, except for the sound of several aliens' secondary breathing apparatus working overtime. That's it," Tara Bloom asked incredulously. "You just caught them? In a paper cup?" "Yep. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll just take these ladies outside where they belong." "Wait," Commander Venn called out. "We need proper containment protocols, decontamination procedures, risk assessments." Maya sighed. "Look, I know you guys are advanced aliens and all, but sometimes the simple solution is the best one. Watch." She walked to the nearest window, opened it, and gently shook the spiders onto a nearby bush. There, problem solved. The aliens stared at her in disbelief. But what about their interdimensional transport network?" someone asked. "You mean the webs? Just get a broom. I'll show you how to clean them up." A broom. Commander Venn repeated the word as if Maya had suggested using ancient magic. "Yeah, for cleaning. Actually, do you guys even have cleaning supplies in this high-tech facility of yours?" The blank look she received answered that question. Apparently, in all their advanced planning, nobody had thought to include basic cleaning equipment in their Earth research facility. "Right," Maya said, trying not to laugh. "I'll be right back. I've got some supplies in my maintenance closet that'll take care of your spider situation." As she walked out, she heard Commander Venn frantically ordering her staff to document everything about this primitive but apparently effective arachnid containment technology. Maya returned a few minutes later with a broom, a dustpan, and a feather duster. The aliens gathered around these simple tools with the same fascination they usually reserved for quantum physics experiments. "Now, pay attention," Maya said, feeling like she was teaching rocket scientists how to tie their shoes. "This is how we humans have been dealing with spiders for thousands of years." 3 hours later, Earth Research Colony 487 was spider-free, web-free, and dealing with a severe case of collective embarrassment. Commander Azara Venn sat at her desk, trying to figure out how to word her report to High Command in a way that wouldn't end her career. "Perhaps we could classify it as an unexpected interaction with native Earth fauna," suggested senior researcher Blackwood, who had finally managed to fix his human disguise. "Oh yes," Commander Venn said sarcastically, her scales still slightly gray from stress. "I'm sure High Command will be thrilled to learn that our most advanced research facility was completely overwhelmed by what the humans consider household pests." Maya Collins, now officially appointed as Earth Wildlife Consultation Specialist, tried not to smile as she finished demonstrating the proper use of a feather duster to a group of fascinated alien scientists. "And you use these primitive tools regularly?" asked Tara Bloom, carefully taking notes. "No force fields? No quantum disruption fields?" "Nope," Maya replied. "Just good old-fashioned cleaning supplies. Trust me, they work better than any high-tech solution you could come up with." Commander Venn had gathered the entire staff for an emergency briefing. In light of recent events, she announced, trying to maintain her dignity, "We will be implementing new protocols for dealing with Earth's wildlife." The first item on the screen read, "Not everything that defies our understanding of physics is a threat to the facility." Furthermore, she continued, "We will be adding basic Earth maintenance equipment to our standard supplies. Researcher Bloom, please add brooms, feather dusters, and what did you call those paper cup things?" "Solo cups," Maya supplied helpfully. "Yes, those. Add them to our essential equipment list." The new protocols continued to appear on screen. Before declaring a facility-wide emergency, consult Earth wildlife specialist. Spiders are not interdimensional beings, despite appearances. Web removal does not require quantum physics. Do not attempt to scan common house spiders for advanced technology. Security Chief Hannah Price raised her hand. Should we maintain the quantum containment fields as a backup measure? The spiders literally used them as web anchors, Maya pointed out. I don't think that's going to help. The meeting continued with Maya explaining basic facts about Earth's common creatures that left the alien scientists alternatively fascinated and horrified. So you're saying these spiders aren't even the most remarkable creatures on Earth, Commander Venn asked weakly. Not even close, Maya grinned. Wait until you hear about octopi. They can change color, squeeze through tiny spaces, solve puzzles. Perhaps we should focus on one Earth species at a time, Commander Venn interrupted hastily, noting how several staff members were starting to look pale. As the meeting concluded, the commander pulled Maya aside. We appreciate your assistance with this situation. However, we must ask for your complete discretion regarding today's events. Don't worry, Maya assured her. Nobody would believe me anyway. Though I do have one question, why didn't you just look up spiders in your Earth database? There was an awkward silence. We did, Tara admitted, but our database was compiled by our advanced team, and they what? They classified spiders as too implausible to be real and assumed they were human fiction. Maya burst out laughing. You're kidding. The report stated, and I quote, "No natural being could possess such abilities. Clearly a human cultural construct designed to test gullibility." Just then, a junior researcher burst into the room, their human disguise flickering in excitement. "Commander, you need to see this." "Please tell me it's not another spider," Commander Venn groaned. "No, Ma'am. We just observed something even more extraordinary in the parking lot. It's some kind of small Earth creature that can fly, hover in place, move backward, and appears to be using some form of biological iridescence technology." Maya grinned. That would be a hummingbird. The sound of Commander Venn's head hitting her desk echoed throughout the facility. "Should I get the broom?" Maya asked innocently. Just go home. Earth Specialist Collins. We'll call you if we need you." As Maya walked to her car, she could hear the beginning of another panic starting inside the building. She made a mental note to bring a bird guide tomorrow, and maybe some aspirin for Commander Venn. 1 month after the Great Arachnid Incident, Earth Research Colony 487 had undergone some significant changes. A new section had been added to their orientation manual titled Common Earth Creatures and Why Not to Panic. The facility now had a fully stocked cleaning closet, complete with brooms, dustpans, and an impressive collection of solo cups. Charlotte, the spider that had caused all the chaos, had made herself quite comfortable in the bush outside the facility's main entrance. Commander Azara Venn had insisted on keeping tabs on her, claiming it was purely for scientific purposes. The security cameras now had a dedicated feed labeled Arachnid Surveillance, though most staff suspected the commander was secretly fascinated by their 8-legged neighbor. The revised research protocols now included a mandatory Earth wildlife recognition course taught by Maya Collins, who had been given a permanent consulting position and a generous hazard pay bonus. Her latest class, Yes, That's Just a Squirrel, a guide to non-threatening Earth animals, had been particularly well received. High Command had eventually responded to Commander Venn's carefully worded report with a facility-wide directive: all Earth creatures, no matter how physically improbable, are to be considered real until proven otherwise. As Maya walked into the facility one morning, she found Commander Venn staring intently at Charlotte's bush. "Everything okay, Commander?" "Did you know," Venn said slowly, "that she rebuilds her entire web structure every day? The precision, the engineering, the sheer efficiency of it. Pretty amazing, right?" Indeed, the commander's scales flickered thoughtfully. "We've begun incorporating some of the structural principles into our new spacecraft designs." Maya blinked. "You're designing spaceships based on spider webs?" The tensile strength-to-weight ratio is remarkable, Venn admitted, though we're keeping that particular detail out of the official reports. Just then, a blood-curdling scream came from inside the facility. Both women rushed in to find a group of researchers pointing at something on the ceiling. "Don't panic," Maya called out. "It's probably just another." She stopped. There, walking across the ceiling, was a small gecko. Commander Venn's scales turned pale. "Please tell me that's another common Earth creature." "Oh yeah, just a house gecko. They can walk up walls and across ceilings because their feet have millions of tiny." No, Commander Venn held up her hands. "No more explanations. Just add it to the not a crisis list." As Maya went to get her trusty solo cup, she couldn't help but smile. For a species capable of interstellar travel, they still had a lot to learn about the wonders of Earth's everyday creatures. Charlotte, meanwhile, continued spinning her webs, blissfully unaware that she had not only conquered an alien research facility, but had also inspired the next generation of alien spacecraft design. Some would call that a pretty good day's work for a common house spider.